Shikha, do you feel that the people of West Bengal are favoring or rather seen sitting with the TMC on this? Because we saw Mamata Banerjee protesting also. And day before yesterday, a lot of Trinamool Congress MPs had gone and met Gyanesh Kumar, where they were mistreated and they said get lost, and all those stories were out. So has SIR become a big political issue? And has Trinamool been able to
political
get across?
It is the political issue. Why? Because, as I said, everybody now thinks that they are equally impacted. I mean, how did this happen to us?
They talk about Ghuspetia and they talk about Sonar Bangla at the same time. That's what Amit Shah talks about.
Yeah, so that's the wonderful contradiction. The second thing is this manifesto is it's an incitement to the typical Bengali to react negatively. You're really poking at them. You're poking them to react, which is you've announced that within 6 months there will be a uniform civil code in West Bengal.
No, but Shikha, what is the sense you are getting from the ground? We are barely 12 days away now from the first phase of West Bengal polling. What is the sense you are getting? Who is dominating in terms of the narrative, in terms of the campaign rhetoric? Who is many political analysts whom I spoke to in Assam, they said that BJP in a way has given up on Assam because of all the fake passport controversy of Himanta Biswa Sarma. They felt that they were losing the narrative towards the last 10 days of the Assam campaign, and that is why they are pooling in all their efforts now in West Bengal. It's going to be tough for BJP, but it's going to be tough for Mamata Didi also.
See, it's tough for the BJP. It's tougher for the BJP. Let's put it like this. It's tougher for the BJP, less tough for Mamata Banerjee.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. West Bengal Assembly elections will be held in 2 phases on April 23rd and April 29th, with less than 2 weeks left for voting. Political campaigning has intensified across the state, with top leaders addressing rallies and roadshows. Now, BJP released its election manifesto today, outlining a mix of welfare promises, governance reforms, and security measures. Now, yesterday, Prime Minister Modi addressed 3 rallies in Haldia, Asansol, and Birhum, targeting the ruling All India Trinamool Congress. He also held a roadshow in Asansol, which saw large crowds and enthusiastic support. During his speeches, Modi has called for a change in governance, saying that the state needs to be freed from TMC rule for better development. He also announced 6 guarantees for West Bengal, promising a more accountable administration. At the same time, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also led a campaign rally in Barannagar in support of TMC candidate Sayantika Banerjee. And the event saw strong participation from the party supporters. Mamata Banerjee is contesting from the Bhabanipur constituency, where she's up against Priyanka Tibrewal of the BJP. Now, the seat is also being closely watched as a key contest between the TMC and the BJP. And if you've seen the rallies of Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday, he said, Didi is bar gai, Didi jache. This is what he said. But which way is the wind blowing in West Bengal? We are 23rd and today is 10th. So it's about 12 days away. We have the first phase of West Bengal elections. Where are the 2 parties sitting as far as Trinamool Congress and BJP are concerned? It's a tight contest between the 2 sides. But who holds the edge? What are the issues on the ground? And how are the people of West Bengal responding to the political rhetoric whipped up by TMC and the BJP? Joining me this evening is Shikha Mukherjee. She is one of the renowned and celebrated veteran journalist who's also a writer. Thank you so much. She writes columns as well. Thank you so much, Shikha, for joining. And my first question to you is, the 6 guarantees promised by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. All the mainstream news channels have been talking about it, that look, these are the 6 guarantees by the Prime Minister. But how are the people in West Bengal responding to the campaign by the BJP? How seriously are they taking BJP? And what is the kind of contest you see this time between BJP and TMC?
I think it's going to be a very, very interesting contest because the BJP has made, today was Mr. Amit Shah's release of the BJP's manifesto, where he made a very interesting observation. He said, we will win a majority. All this time, he's been talking about a 2/3 majority. 180, 200 seats is what the BJP has been talking about. So now it's sort of, we will cross the majority mark, which is 148. That's interesting. How are people on the ground reacting to the BJP's campaign? I think that in the context of the SIR, an issue that the BJP has skirted around, it just simply refuses to talk about it. And again, talking about Mr. Shah's press conference for the manifesto release today, he was directly asked a question and says, I have nothing to do with it. It's all the EC's business and the Supreme Court and the court's business. Problem is that, yes, it is the EC's business and it is the Supreme Court's business. But the people who are affected are a political party's business. Therefore, why are you not addressing the fact that people have been through what they have been through?
Right.
And that's surprising. But having said that, how do I see the wind blowing? I see that there is a storm over the SIR. Why? Because, in all this time, including me, we have been looking at the SIR issue as an ongoing process that was harassing, that was frustrating.
Shikha, we were talking about the fact you said that SIR is the only issue about which people are bothered, but the BJP is not talking about it. Yes.
No, SIR is not the only issue, but it is the issue which is uppermost in people's minds. Why? For the simple reason that up to now, all of us, including myself, have sort of looked at it as a large number, but we had anecdotal accounts. And then suddenly this number comes up of 91 lakhs. Now that is like a bullet between your eyes. So that has kind of shocked people into converting the anecdotes that they were hearing and pulling together, and also talking about the fact that, it's a good time for a cleanup of the electoral rolls. The Election Commission is doing a good job because for the last 50 years, we've had rigged rolls. Every regime has rigged the rolls in their own way. So here we have a situation where suddenly the SIR is no longer an individual or a small WhatsApp group concern. It has become a statewide concern. It is the concern of everyone in the state, because 1 in 10 people being disenfranchised means that almost everybody that I know, and almost everybody in Bengal, knows someone else who has been unfairly deleted from the electoral roll. The person who was eligible has been deleted. And that makes completely different. It turns the whole SIR practice into something entirely different, which is that serious injustice is being done to voters, people that we all know.
this front, Shikha, do you feel that the people of West Bengal are favoring or rather seen sitting with the TMC on this? Because we saw Mamata Banerjee protesting also. And day before yesterday, a lot of Trinamool Congress MPs had gone and met Gyanesh Kumar, where they were mistreated and they said, get lost. And all those stories were out. So has SIR become a big political issue? And has Trinamool been able to put that across?
It is the political issue. Why? Because, as I said, everybody now thinks that they are equally impacted. I mean, how did this happen to us? And if you see what happened at the Election Commission when they met Gyanesh Kumar, whether he shouted at them or whether he thumped the table at them or whether he told them to get lost, that's one story which we don't know how to confirm. But what is confirmed is that Mr. Gyanesh Kumar promptly issued that weird message on X addressed to the Trinamool Congress, which is very, very unprecedented, totally it's sort of disrespectful in a lot of ways to the institution of the Election Commission, not to the Trinamool. Disrespect to the institution of the Election Commission, saying that, this is how we are going to hold the elections. Of course, it is your job to hold a free and fair election. Why are you telling me this? So I think that at this point in time, if there is one thing that, there is anti-incumbency in West Bengal, without a doubt, and the BJP is going hammer and tongs about the anti-incumbency that any regime, 3 terms, you accumulated it. There's no way in which you can escape it. So BJP is going after focusing on anti-incumbency, which is perfect politics. But the anti-incumbency has got stuck has come up against SIR and the Election Commission. And the Election Commission is therefore now become not just the Election Commission, but because BJP is so isolated on SIR, it is the only political party in West Bengal that has consistently supported the SIR, defended the Election Commission, and said that this is absolutely right. And we don't, and to me and to others, they have in private conversations said that, well, a few black Hindus getting knocked off the electoral roll, it doesn't matter, we manage it, but this has to be done.
No, but then if this is the main issue for the people and this is what to which the people are responding and they feel that unfairly their names have been deleted, then no matter how many promises Prime Minister Modi makes in his election campaigns, no matter how many 6 guarantees he talks about, so the people of West Bengal, which means are not getting swayed by what the BJP is saying.
It's going to be difficult. And then today's manifesto has sort of added fat to the fire by talking about the manifesto was introduced by Mr. Shah. He said his priority is zero tolerance to Ghuspetia. The question in Bengal is, who is a Ghuspetia? The Hindus or are the Muslims? That's the big question, and that is certainly true of pockets of BJP strongholds where there are a lot of Hindu Ghuspetias, and you say that you have zero tolerance. So what on earth is going on? And then this whole business of go and apply for CAA, and anyway, that's not moving. Whatever the BJP may say, whatever the government of India may say, that CEA process is not moving fast and forward. So you have at one level a manifesto which is promising Ghuspetia as a priority, getting rid of Ghuspetia, delete, deport.
They talk about Ghuspetia and they talk about Sonar Bangla at the same time. That's what Amit Shah talks about.
Yeah, so that's the wonderful contradiction. The second thing is this manifesto is it's an incitement to the typical Bengali to react negatively You're really poking at them. You're poking them to react, which is you've announced that within 6 months there will be a uniform civil code in West Bengal. Within 6 months, I am very intrigued by this thing. He mentioned it. None of the journalists asked him, but he should have been asked. He says that there will be a law for dharmik astha, swatantrata of dharmik astha and puja paddhati. Who knows what that means? Because, you've had these fantastic fights between the BJP's version of Hindu practice and the Bengali version of Hindu practice. Does Kali eat meat? Does during Ram Navami, why do you eat meat and fish and everything else? There are all these flashpoints. You've had these confrontations. So when you are saying that I'm going to introduce a law, the question is, what is this law for? What is dharmik astha? Who are you to decide on what is dharmik astha or puja paddhati? So all of this is very provocative, and I'm not sure how well it will go down, because the fish story, the fish and meat, this is not proper Hindu practice, has circulated right down to the water. You touch a Bengali's fish and you're in trouble. So I think it's a very interesting point of fact.
No, but Shikha, what is the sense you are getting from the ground? We are barely 12 days away now from the first phase of West Bengal polling. What is the sense you are getting? Who is dominating in terms of the narrative, in terms of the campaign rhetoric? Who is many political analysts whom I spoke to in Assam, they said that BJP in a way has given up on Assam because of all the fake passport controversy of Mamata Biswa Sarma. They felt that they were losing the narrative towards the last 10 days of the Assam campaign, and that is why they are pooling in all their efforts now in West Bengal. It's going to be tough for BJP, but it's going to be tough for Mamata Didi also.
See, it's tough for the BJP. It's tougher for the BJP. Let's put it like this. It's tougher for the BJP, less tough for Mamata Banerjee. Why? Because the BJP has offered her this SIR issue on a platter. 91 lakhs, not a word of sympathy for what the people have gone through and what the people are going through even today. Because these tribunals have not been set up, the tribunals are not functioning. Nobody knows who's going to vote and who's not going to vote. The BJP and the Election Commission had better watch out, because I'm very worried what is going to happen on the 23rd, when the first lot of voters go into a polling booth, uncertain of who is on the list and whose name is not on the list. No one has any reason. No one has offered them a reason as to why their name is not on the list. No one's telling them that you're a Ghuspetia. So what is their status? If they have been mapped as voters in the draft list, and then they have been sent these notices, which is what has happened. Not eligible voters, but the Election Commission is keeping them out. 60 lakhs of them.
Right.
Or 27 lakhs of them.
But Shikha, we saw the 2021 elections also, where all that, oh Didi, and all that happened.
That's not happening anymore.
Yeah, Kailash Vijayvargi, upping the ante, all those scenes people have not forgotten. How different do you see this 2026 elections in Bengal when you compare it with 2021? That time also the campaign rhetoric was huge. It almost looked as if the BJP is winning the elections, but that was not the case on the ground. Do you feel that the situation is almost similar to like what we saw in 2021, or it's far worse because of SIR?
Far worse because of SIR. I think, the Didi was a direct attack on Mamata Banerjee. This time, the BJP is being, at least Mr. Modi, not so much Mr.
Staying
Shah.
away from this.
Mr. Modi is very circumspect. He doesn't even really use a name. So it's only yesterday that he made a mention of Didi. But
He said Didi Jache. Didi Jache, and he also said that this time Bhawanipur also BJP is winning.
Yeah. Bhawanipur, by the way, the Subhendu Adhikari, who's the leader of the opposition, is contesting against her, which makes it a very tough, very interesting. It is the star constituency of West Bengal. Anyway, be that as it may, the issue is that this is a fight where Mamata as a leader, and Mamata as a person has to be put out of the campaign, because they cannot take on Mamata as a person, as a charismatic leader. They tried it in 2021, it boomeranged vastly. So, and then the BJP doesn't really have a face. Even today, Mr. Shah was very cagey, except for saying that there will be a person of a Bengali from who will take over, and that's weird. So, having said that, you have Mamata who's hitting the ground 3 to 4 meetings a day. That's really intense, and she has a backup of Abhishek Banerjee and the local leadership. An organization which, no matter how much the BJP says that we are a very organized, very strong, very well disciplined, strongly managed organization, that is not quite the truth on the ground in West Bengal. So they have these weaknesses. The Trinamool has its own weakness. I mean, there are internal squabbles all the time happening inside the Trinamool, which is very, very, very typical of a party which came out of the Congress itself. The Congress is prone to have these fights. But the BJP now is up against two things. One, it is up against the SIR issue, on which it is totally politically isolated. And it is and people in the common man's mind, it is very clear, EC equals BJP equals center. So there is this anti-center. Bengal has a tradition of political history of being anti-center, anti-establishment. Actually, more anti-establishment than anything. So it's made Mamata again into an anti-establishment figure, cutting out that anti-incumbency. It's not that anti-incumbency is going away, but it's
people say that right, but people always say that the image of a fighter who's fighting on the street always suits Mamata, and she's been able to capitalize it much better this time in 2026 as compared to 2021. I remember last time when there were elections, I think she fell down. She had a plaster on her foot at that time, but this time I think SIR and the controversy around it has made things easier for Mamata, I believe.
Yeah, because she hit the ground running on SIR from February. She hit the ground running. She held the rally. She went to the Supreme Court. So she has this image, which is her USP anyway. That's her brand. That she's fiery, she's fisty, she's combative, she's aggressive, she's pro-people. Whereas in the BJP model, it's always the double engine sarkar. It's Modi, Amit Shah, the Delhi dispensation, which will decide how things will run in West Bengal. It's not a leader from the ground up, it's a leader chosen by the center. That makes a difference.
No, like Assam had its fair share of controversy towards the last leg. And in the last 1 week or so, Pavan Khera came out with this fake passport issue. In West Bengal, similarly, we are seeing this Humayun Kabir video and the sting operation, 1,000 crore deal. What is this? I really want to understand. And is it having any traction on the ground? What is the issue? We are also reading that AIMIM has pulled out of the alliance. That's what we're reading. What is happening on that front?
See, Humayun Kabir is not a very creditable leader. Why? He was with the Congress, moved to the Trinamool, moved to the BJP, moved to the Trinamool, and then decided to form his own party. Everybody in Bengal, including people from within the BJP, were telling me that he had a lot of money. He collected a lot of money for his.
But what about these allegations where it said that he's in touch with the PMO, and what about those allegations? Do they have credence?
I don't know whether they have credence about the PMO, but they certainly have credence that, who is he working for? Where is he getting the money? Because on the Babri Masjid, he collected some 6 or 8 crores. And there was a lot of speculation. There were people within the BJP who were saying, yeah, maybe, he can get it from places, which was a clear indication of where they think the money was coming from. So one is Humayun Kabir is not a very, I don't know really I don't think he has much traction at the ground level. And if meme has moved out, then even less so. Because that is a clear indication from the meme to its own, to whoever they think were their voters, that don't have anything to deal with it. So that's.
But apart from this sting operation which just came in yesterday, but apart from that, BJP has also talked about the cut money culture and the corruption, and then the administrative system is not working. All of those promises have been consistently been made by Prime Minister. It has also been repeated today by Amit Shah while he was releasing the manifesto. Does this have traction on the ground? Are the people really fed up of the cut money culture which they've been alleging?
See,
the issue put the rule on the back foot.
Of course it does, because this is anti-incumbency. It's a classic anti-incumbency issue. That people are misusing abuse of power. One is abuse of power by a political person at the grassroots. That is one part of the corruption story, and the other one is the money, cut money. Now, cut money has certainly impacted the Trinamool. It impacted the CPM after 34 years in power. And the same kind of allegations were made against the CPM as well. They were becoming just unbearable. So this is a problem that West Bengal has experienced in 2 phases. During the last years of the CPM, and now with the Trinamool. West Bengal's argument, and there are different arguments that I have heard from a lot of people. Their argument is as follows. A large number of people in the BJP, including the leader of the opposition, Shubhendu Adhikari, are imports from the Trinamool Congress. They're defectors. So they bring the Trinamool culture to the BJP rather than a BJP culture taking them over. That's one, which is also the same kind of argument that is against Hemanta Biswa Sharma, that he's imported the Congress into the BJP. So that is one. In other words, the practices of the Trinamool Congress have now shifted into being the practices of the BJP. The second that is being said is, we saw that the day that the Trinamool Congress became powerful and the real challenger, and everybody was expecting them to win, hordes of people from the CPM, all the Bahubalis, all moved to the Trinamool. This is also going to happen with the BJP. That's the second argument I've heard. And the third argument I've heard is even more interesting, which is that maybe we should have a change because the new guy always doesn't take a big bite out of the money. They start nibbling at the first term is always nibbling at the edges. So maybe life will be a little more bearable during the first term. All kinds of arguments we've heard, but at the end of the day, whether it actually adds up to a big no vote to Mamata and a majority to the BJP in the context of what is happening in SIR and people are very disturbed, is, I think, makes it very difficult for the BJP. It has to do far more than it is. It's kind of coasting along. It doesn't appear to be doing as energetic a campaign as it did in 2021.
Right. So that's an important observation. That's a very important observation you made. So my last question to you before I wind up in a very brief answer. So if 12 days before, if I may ask you to predict, though we are no astrologers to see who's going to win the election, but who do you think is having an upper edge? Is it Trinamool or it is BJP? And we've not spoken about the left and the Congress because they're just not visible. So is it
very important? It's very important in this election. Because the left and the Congress in particular in pockets, and the left also in pockets, but on a much wider scale across the state, they have done very close groundwork, grassroots work, to reconnect themselves to their vote banks, who had moved to the BJP. And they're expecting that even if they don't win a lot of seats, which they're not expecting to do, they may well expect only a handful of seats, but they're hoping that their vote share will go up seriously. So is the Congress expecting that to happen? In which case, there is only that many votes. So it will have to mean that they are trying to get back the votes that went away to the BJP, and they are also trying to get back some of the votes that went to the Trinamool Congress. Whether in the post-SIR shock of 91 lakhs, that same sentiment works, I will need a few more days to check it out. But at this point in time, it is an interesting thing because where these votes are returning or reconnecting to the Congress and the CPM will make a big impact on whichever party is there, hoping to outdo the other.
No, so does this election, the X factor is Congress and a CPM combined? Are you saying that the X factor of this election is CPM plus Congress?
No, the X factor they are not the X factor, but they are X factor in certain constituencies where they can make a big difference because they can shave off the margin, they can shave off the vulnerabilities, they can make people very vulnerable. That's when you have multipolar politics. That's why it becomes unpredictable.
So would you want to hazard a guess as to who seems to be having a dominant position right now, whether it's BJP or Trinamool?
The BJP certainly not, because of this resentment. There is this very strong resentment.
Okay.
Otherwise,
all right. Yes.
No, otherwise, it would be a more equal fight.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting times, but we'll have to wait and watch what happens over the next 12 days. 23rd April is the first phase of West Bengal election, so we'll have to wait and watch. Thank you so much. It was lovely to talk to you, Shikha. Thank you very much for joining on HW. Thank you.